Hi, I'm Dawn. This is Yarn is a Sport, and I'd like you to play ball. Today, I have a book that I wanted to tell you about. I just got this. My husband got this for me. It's called Close Knit. It's by, and I hope I'm saying this right, Laerke. I think that's how it would be in I think she's Danish. It's Laerke. In America we would pronounce it Laerke Bagger, but I believe it's Laerke Bagger. It's called Close Knit, and I, as you know, have been knitting many years, and I would say she is the younger generation's Elizabeth Zimmerman. That's just my take on it. She's very encouraging. She did go to Fiber College. She went to they have a very famous one in England, but she attended the Royal Danish Academy of Fine Arts School of Design in Copenhagen. She has excellent credentials, but what I really liked about the book, I don't know how many have read Elizabeth Zimmerman's Knitting Without Tears. Pretty sure that's the name of it. And there's a part where she's talking about steeking. Now, steeking is where you knit in the round, you reinforce where you're generally where the center front is going to be, and then when you finish, you're going to cut it. So all the hours of knitting, if you don't reinforce that correctly, you're going to have some trouble. And in the book, paraphrasing, Elizabeth Zimmerman says, you know, relax, take some breaths, look at what you're going to do before you cut. You've put all these hours into the knitting, but look at what you're going to do, plan it, make sure it's reinforced. Then before you cut, go in the next room and lay down and relax. Come back, cut it, and as soon as you're done cutting, go back and lay down and get over the anxiety, because it's done. And that was kind of, and that's paraphrased, and I read that, I don't know, 30 years ago, but it stuck with me as far as the concept of what she was getting at is, you know, just do it. Think about it, relax, do it. I'm not going to read the entire foreword, but her foreword says a bit about knit shaming and insecurity, and what the hell, a lot about knitting. And the one paragraph that I liked, in which she explains she started knitting when she was 10 years old, and she thought that, you know, she really enjoyed it, that she could make a career out of it. And about the time she's starting to make decisions for education and things, somebody was like, really? And it just devastated her. And she got over it. But I will read this paragraph. This book is about finding the courage to stand your ground and use insecurity as a driving force. Close-knit is much more than just a knitting manual. It is about believing in yourself, not caring what others think, and not wanting to be perfect and neat, but having fun and accepting the mistakes you make when you enter unknown territory. I love that. This book, in my opinion, if you have got a teen or an early 20, even someone that's 30, this is a great book for them. There are 15 patterns and 45 techniques. The patterns are done more the way I knit. First, she knits from the bottom up, which I've only recently started doing top down. She explains the fit. There's some beautiful photos in here. But she has got, let me go through it the other way. She has got some great drawings in here that show how she does the design concept. And I thought, wow, that is just a great photo to show all the different possibilities. When you see a pattern that someone has or someone else has done, some people have a hard time imagining and figuring out a different way to do it. And I wish that more people took the time to figure out, that's at the beginning, took the time to figure out different ways. That's all basic, the same concept, but different colors and different accents at different places. And that's what makes it yours. Don't be afraid to try something. Let me get back in here. She has, the other thing that she talks about in this is swatching, which I've admitted, unless I am test knitting, I don't usually swatch. But I will tell you, she has a place in here that is pillow covers, and I agree with this. If you do a pillow cover, if you are trying to master a new stitch, that is a perfect place to do it, because you have bigger area to see, you have a bigger fabric to see how the stretch is, because the linen stretch is not going to, linen stitch is not going to have the stretch and the give that you, because of the, you know, the pass that you do, it's not going to have the stretch. It gives you a chance to work with it a little bit. It helps you to practice seaming, and sewing in zippers if you so desire, or matching up the sides so that you have the envelope, so you can tuck, you know, the overlap, so you can tuck the pillow in and flip it over inside without a zipper, or putting a button on and working up buttonholes. They're just a really good, easy, simple way to do that. She does have patterns in here. She explains how she measures. The other thing that's in here that I love, scraps. Picture of the scraps. Scraps. I'll tell you, I keep all of my scraps, all of them. We have got little plastic bags. If I have something that's less than 2 inches, and in here she says 3 inches. Anything less than 2 inches, I keep. You can have a burlap. They have burlap that's a tight weave that they use for rug hooking. And you loop through, and you start like on the bottom edge, have it stretched, and you just need enough that you can put binding over it so you can finish the back of it. So you put it on your frame, and you can, I like to use the staple gun. It's easy to take out. You only need so much. Then you can use thumbtacks. You can, but you put it on. You can get the frames that are pre-made for stretching canvas for painting. Those work really well if you find the right size. You just want, 1 or 2 inches bigger than what you want it finished. Put it, you want to zigzag the edges of it, and then or sew your binding on. You could do that too. Sew it right up to the edge, and then the binding will be over a little bit on the little bit to the inside of the open area. But in that open area, take your crochet hook, you stick it in the hole from the front, loop your no, you do it from the back. I'm sorry, from the back. Put your crochet hook in, take your loop, pull it through, and flip it over, pull it through, and you can do it so that it's like a latch hook. If you have a latch hook tool, it's going to be too big to do this. You have to poke it in twice to do this method. That's why it's perfect for scraps. And then you can just cut it the same, and it makes a little throw rug with all of your yarns. There'll be colors that you've worked with. It doesn't matter if it's a throw rug. You don't have to do a pattern with it, and to me it's easier not to, because then you hit all of the holes. Anyway, I will show you how to do that eventually, like when I get to where storage is. But with the scraps, I have anything that I've cut off and trimmed, I keep in one bag that's light and one bag that's dark. And I use those for stuffing amigurumis and little things that I make. I have I'm called the faux aunt because I'm not related. This goes back to my introduction. My mom's friend married my mom's friend's daughter married my godmother's son, and their son has a daughter. So it's like my faux great niece is what we joke. I'm the faux aunt. But I am looking forward to making little fruits and vegetables and things for her bakery set. She's only 18 months old, so I figure she'll probably get that when she's 3. I got a little bit of time. I can start stocking up on that. But that's what I'm going to stuff it with. Use it, anything that is 2 inches I use for the rugs. The 3-inch ones I still use for the rugs. I cut them in half. Anything that is 5-6 inches is what I use for scrap balls, which things like woolen pine, stained, the sea glass. I always call stained glass. The sea glass t-shirt. That's something that uses scraps. But one of the things I like a lot about her designs is a lot of them, and she talks about in the book, a lot of them are done with scraps to color. She doesn't waste. And I do find in America we can be quite wasteful. If you ever have a chance to go to Europe, please try to find a family that will show you how they live and the difference. I mean, it's a big change going to the RV, but it's very much the way that they live as far as the condensed space and being wise about their selections and how they store things. But she makes balls out of the different. Now I do try to match my yarns more from the size. If it's sock, if it's DK, if it's worsted, I try to have those the same. I try to have 100% wool. I keep the wools separate. I keep them more like the cottons. But she mixes and matches and doesn't really care. She cares more about the color. And the way she does that, because she uses it as an accent uh, with the knitting in some of the pieces, and I think that is just so wise. The other thing, and she shows a little bit different because she admits in here that she doesn't do the swatches, but one of the things when I do swatch is I try to keep them aside, and I have completed maybe 3 in the 50 years. 3 of them? 2 of them. I'm going to say 2 of them I've completed. From the swatches when I swatched, and I was much better about it at one point than once I had the experience. I didn't, because when you're little you do what you're told. Okay, you have to swatch this, so you do. But she does a quilt out of her scraps, and that's very similar to what I would do, although hers is more modern and with how she did it with the scraps all in one continuous row, and I did mine and I would have to sew them together, and again that was practicing seams. And I think I told you that I seam things together more in a crochet method, and I will show you that at some point in the future too. But I really like this book. I think it is a great book to give the younger generations that are starting out. I like the way that she is resourceful. I like the way that she explains how to do things measuring. I sew, and even if you don't sew, if there are sewing patterns available at the thrift store or a garage sale, get them, because that's a great way for you to read about construction. And you can either use old towels and kind of cut out and get an idea how, hand baste it and get an idea how things work with fabric, and that is going to help you so much with your knitting. Anybody that has been sewing and goes to knitting has got such a head start on construction. Don't let it hold you back. Don't let it have you tunnel visioned into how construction is, but it will definitely help. So again, this is Laerke, Close Knit. I think he got this on Amazon, but that's my suggestion. If you are looking for a gift for somebody that knits, which maybe you're a mom and you've got a younger daughter you want to have an interest, I would say, like I said, teens, 20s, great book. It's not going to hurt to look through it if you're older too, because there's a few things in here that I'm like, oh yeah, that would be really neat to do. I want to thank you for stopping by. If you have any questions or comments down below, please. Suggestions, I'm always open for suggestions. And I do want to remind you again about the Boggy Creek blankets. That would be through She's Got Yarn Too, Nancy, and I will put the information for sending those. If you want to do a square a day, that is being done by She's Got Yarn Too and Charmed Grammy. They're doing scraps that they exchanged, but there's other people that have jumped on gone through their scraps and are doing one a day as well. And then Lynn from Nina's Knots Crochet is doing it just from her stash. She's got Red Heart Saver favorite stripe that she's doing, and then Nancy joined her from, she's got yarn too, with I think her color is Parrot, and it's really, they're beautiful, beautiful granny squares. And I will say, I do my granny squares the same way that Lynn Ann does. I have mine joined at the corner. So I thought that was interesting. But the self-striping with that is coming out gorgeous. Any granny square. I'm just surprised that the stripe works that way for that. I've looked at some others, and I'm thinking about, I'm just not a granny square. I don't know why. I don't mind it in the sock yarn and little, and for like a jacket, or I'm just, anyway. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Please, oh, and I'll put the information for this close knit book down below in the description. And please enjoy your crafts, and thanks for playing ball.